A toast to my father. Welcome, everybody. Today we're here to celebrate my dad and the past 50 years of his life. Everything I know, everything my life to this day, would be nothing like it is now if my dad wasn't a part of it. I wouldn't be half the person I am today if it weren't for you. You've taught me so many things that I'll use forever. How to keep going when life pushes you down. How to never give up. How to take a joke. Maybe not how to give a good joke, but I guess that's something I could try and figure out myself. Literally, my entire life is an endless story packed with lessons that will stick with me forever. Everything you've taught me has helped me endlessly to this day. I can't wait to see what more the future has to bring. You know, exactly when to crack a joke, exactly what advice I need, even if I don't want to hear it, and exactly how to help literally any physical ailment. You're like my own personal physical therapist, and honestly, a mental therapist too. You always listen to what I need to say, anything from my feelings and dilemmas to my school drama. I couldn't have asked for a better Abba or gossip partner. Thank you so much for everything. So, thank you all for coming, and thank you to the guy who deserves it all and more. Here's a toast to my dad.
This is Phase 7's Rockstar Award. Except it isn't, but we're going to pretend like it is. Visually, it's just a piece of rock on a piece of wood. But really, it is the highest form of peer recognition an ISLA student can receive. At the end of every unit, the Phase 7 students are asked to look back on everything they did and think to themselves, who stood out the most? Who really engaged with the big idea? Who was Phase 7's rock star? And whoever gets the most votes becomes our rock star. Now, because every unit is different, this is very broad and subjective. But we made it that way for a reason. Every topic has its own ways of engaging. So we thought, let's leave it open-ended. But because of this, every Rockstar Award is given for different reasons. And those reasons are based on what we were able to show in our assignments. And I think it's important for you guys to understand that this isn't a rock, it has a meaning. So, over the migration unit, we've been looking at all sorts of things, from examining the movements of a single butterfly to the worldwide lasting effects of Shakira leaving Colombia, which for some reason is insane. Now, if you had to come up with just one skill to sum all this up, out of many, I'd say it's being able to look at one small thing and branching out to see everything it affects. Now, you don't have to use this definition. You can come over and see our projects we've been working the last 6 weeks on to see everything we've been working on and what this award actually means to win. Now, sorry for all the talking, but we're finally getting to the point where I introduce the winner. Now, I'm very happy to announce that the winner of Phase 7's Unit D Rockstar Award is...
Birthdays have started to become terrifying to me. Instead of being excited about birthday cake and parties, my birthday has become a dreadful upcoming event. And it isn't because I was scared of getting older. It was because once a year, that small voice in my head would start to whisper, shouldn't you be farther by now? As people sing happy birthday, rather than dreaming about new opportunities for the upcoming years, I started to overcalculate what milestone I should have achieved already. Each birthday wish I made felt like a waste of time, and I was running out of time. Studies, career, achievements. I looked around and everyone had been so successful, while I was spending my time fooling around. I felt like the world stopped for me, but kept spinning for everyone else. I stayed the same while everyone else was changing. Or at least, that's what I told myself. But then I realized time wasn't the problem. The way I was measuring it was. I've been treating my life like a scoreboard. Projects, jobs, titles. I reduced growth to what could be listed or announced. And if I didn't have anything new to show, it means I failed. But the most important growth doesn't really show up to be impressive. Learning who you are, unlearning who you're not, resting without calling it laziness. That was all growth too. My turning point came when I stopped beating myself up for living in the moment. I realized that enjoying your life and living in the moment wasn't wasting time. There's no universal timeline we're supposed to follow. My birthday isn't a countdown clock. It's proof I'm still here, still becoming. So instead of asking, am I ahead? Maybe we should be asking, am I living in a way that feels right to me? This year, I'm not wishing to be further along. I'm wishing to live more fully. Because life isn't a race against time, it's a relationship with it. And I'm finally learning to be on my own side.
Your connective tissues are like rubber bands. They stretch and they stretch, but eventually they snap. Someone with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, specifically hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, their connective tissues are like a workout band. They stretch and they stretch, but they're much more difficult to break. My phone close. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, is a group of inherited disorders characterized by genetic mutations in connective tissue. Can I?
Keep going. I'll edit it later.
The key characteristics of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is tissue fragility, skin hyperextensity, and hypermobility, obviously. The mitochondria is often called the powerhouse of the cell because it is the organ responsible for energy creation. It generates most of the ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, which is used for energy within the cell. The energy is then used in processes like muscle contraction or chemical synthesis. Sometimes, however, this organelle does not work as it's meant to, which is called mitochondrial dysfunction. For the duration of this, we are going to call it MD. MD is believed to contribute to EDS via the articulo-autonomic dysplasia cycle, or ADD for short, AAD. The reason it's believed to be a unifying mechanism is that it would explain many of the symptoms. The cycle of AAD works like this. Because of looser connective tissues, blood pools in the feet and legs.
A motivational speech, you have to achieve something great first. You have to win something, build something, become something important. Like, only people at the top have the right to speak about motivation. But I realized something. You don't have to reach the top to understand the climb. Well, you are going toward your goal, even if you're still far from it. You go through struggle, you doubt yourself, you question if you're good enough, you feel fear, you feel pressure. And in those moments, you start learning things no one can teach you. You learn discipline when you don't feel like working, but you still do it. You learn resilience when you fail and decide to try again. You learn patience when progress is slow. The most importantly, you learn about yourself. You discover your deepest fears, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not being enough. And when you face those fears, instead of running from them, you also discover your strengths. You realize you're stronger than you thought, more capable than you believed, more resilient than you imagined. Success is not only about achieve the goal, it's about when you become who you become while chasing it. So maybe I haven't achieved something great yet, but I'm in progress. I'm learning, I'm growing, and that journey itself is already shaping me. And if you're working towards something right now, don't wait until you make it to believe in yourself. The struggle you're going through today.
Have you ever stepped onto a soccer field and felt like you didn't belong there? Like everyone else was faster, stronger, and way more skillful than you? Maybe you missed an open goal. Maybe you got benched. Maybe somebody told you to quit because you're not good enough and you won't make it anyway. That's where the problem starts to begin. In football, it's easy to compare yourself to another players. For example, many people compare themselves to Lamine Yamal, the young star player. literally one of the best players right now. With only 17 years old, he won the Euro Cup with Spain, being the start of the team. Meanwhile, being the main face of Barcelona, winning a lot of trophies, being the most skillful player. Literally, Barcelona depends on Lamine Yamal, but that's also an issue. The thing nobody understands is that he has a talent. He's such a talented boy. He has given a talent by literally gods. He's one in a million. So
Leaving something meaningful is never easy. It can feel scary, emotional, and even confusing. But moments like that are often the ones that help us grow the most. When we step away from something familiar, we are given the chance to learn, change, and discover strengths we didn't know we had. Life is full of moments where we must move forward, even when it feels uncomfortable. During those times, it is important to remember that every experience teaches us something, that people we meet, the challenges we face, and the memories we create will shape us of who we become. One of the most important lessons we can learn is to listen to others and to be open-minded. Everyone has their own story, their own struggle, and their own journey. When we take the time to understand different perspectives, we grow not only in knowledge, but also in compassion. Another important lesson is kindness. Being the best and kindest version of yourself may seem simple, but it can make a powerful difference in someone else's life. Small actions like supporting a friend, including someone who feels left out, or simply showing respect can leave lasting impacts that we may not even realize. As we continue through life, there will always be new challenges, and also changes ahead of us. Instead of fearing them, we should see them as opportunities. Every challenge gives us a chance to become stronger, more confident, and more capable than we were ever before. So I encourage everyone to keep moving forward with hope and courage. Be open to learning from others, treat people with kindness, and never be afraid of change. The future is full of possibilities, and each of us has the ability to create something meaningful with experiences we are given. Because in the end, what truly matters is not what we leave behind, but how we grow and who we choose to become.
Human activities affect the planet. Have you ever stopped for a moment and wondered how your daily actions might be shaping the future of your planet? Have you ever noticed the impact that we are doing it to the world we live? Well, one of the ways in which we can see reflected our actions that negatively impact the planet is in climate change, something we have been hearing about for a long time. But why is it so common? Well, climate change is the long-term variation of temperature and climate around the world, and it's something that has always existed. The problem is that in the past it wasn't as significant as is it now. Humans aren't completely responsible for climate change because it's something natural in the world, in part caused by sun's activity or large volcanic eruptions. But we do have the blame for the acceleration of this change, because it's not normal that things supposed to happen in many years are having.
People say how easy it may be, but not many people actually do it. Something so simple, yet so rare in today's world. Doing it now. We all know what we should be doing. We feel it in our chest. That quiet voice that says, start the assignment, send the message, train harder, take the first step. But instead of moving, we pause. We tell ourselves, we'll do it later, because later feels soft, later feels safe, later feels like there's no risk of failing. But later is silent. Later is where dreams sit in the dark and slowly lose their shine. The truth is not that we are incapable. It is that we hesitate, we overthink every detail until the excitement fades. We scroll to distract ourselves, we doubt our ability before we even try. We wait for the perfect mood, the perfect energy, the perfect moment, yet while we wait, the time keeps walking. It does not slow down for our fear. Opportunities do not knock forever. Growth does not happen by accident. Every delay is a decision. Every delay whispers comfort over courage. So how do we break the pattern?
Watching you all graduate feels like standing inside a moment I wish I could freeze for just 1 second longer. It's one of those moments where time suddenly feels real. All the years we spent growing up together feel like they're lined up behind us, reminding me how much we shared, how much we changed, and how deeply connected this chapter of our life has been. It honestly feels impossible that the kids I laughed with, grew with, and leaned on are now stepping into a completely different world. Growing up with you guys wasn't just something that happened alongside my life. It shaped who I am in ways I'm still discovering. When I think back on those years, I don't just remember classes or school or just like work. I remember those moments in between. The random laughter that made stressful days feel so much lighter. The inside jokes that only we knew and only we could laugh about. Those little moments don't feel big at the time, but now that they're priceless, the proof that growing up just wasn't about getting older. It's about the people who walked beside you while it happened.